This podcast is brought to you by the Texas Hill Country River region in Uvalde County. What's super unique about this area is that the Frio, Nueces, and Sabinal rivers are all located in the same county. It's like the hill country that you know and love, but really rural, so you're surrounded by wildlife. And life just kind of slows down out here, so you can enjoy the simple pleasures like campfires and fishing and just enjoying the company of the people that you love.
Go to visituvalde.com for more info. Buenos dias, everyone. We are back with another episode. I'm Jake, your host, and Leah is your co-host.
Hi.
We have our guest today is Liz Beth, and she has a pretty interesting story about things that she's doing. So we'll just jump right into it. So hello, Liz.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. It's super exciting.
Yeah. We were just talking about how nervous it is before we started recording.
Right.
Nervous it can be, but hopefully after a few minutes, we'll just slowly get into it and it'll just come naturally.
Absolutely. Yeah, these things kind of make you feel like a celebrity, I guess. That's what gives you the nerves, is like we don't know where the conversation's going to go. Who knows?
And that's kind of our format, is like we never really have a clear trajectory of which way we're going to go. We just kind of let the conversation happen and it goes where it goes.
Yeah.
But I want to jump in and start with how you got here and why are you in Concan right now? What happened? Who are you? And why are you here right now?
Who are you? We don't even know
Who are
you.
you?
Yeah. So as they said, my name is Liz Beth, and I'm an independent swimwear designer from San Antonio. And I design seamless and reversible swimwear for women. I'd probably say that my main audience is probably like 20s, early 30s women. And I design everything from scratch. So I do everything from like the fabric design and the print. And I personally don't design those myself anymore because it's way too time consuming. But I work with other independent female digital designers, and they create like these custom prints, or sometimes I'll see something I like and they customize it for me personally. And they get a % of every sale. And I pretty much only work with women, and I do everything locally in San Antonio. So it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of like an adventure for me. That's just getting started. I've been doing it for 4 years, but it really feels like the adventure is just getting started now. So I'm really excited about that.
Wow.
That's awesome. So you responded to a TikTok that I had posted where I was just like, we're not going to make a lot of money in January and February. So if anybody's creative and wants to come and stay with us and collaborate, hit me up. And you did.
Yeah.
And what stuck out to me about your proposal was that you used a Brene Brown quote in your explanation of your swimsuits.
Yeah.
And I loved that. So what does Brene Brown have to do with bikinis?
Oh, I mean, not so much with bikinis, I would say, but really just the quality of women that I really want to make swimwear for. Just women that are truly passionate about being better people and that are always searching to be better than they were yesterday. And I think Brene Brown really inspires everyone to do that. And so I'm inspired personally by a lot of her quotes and who she is as a human being. And so I think that the quote that I used with you was the soft front, strong back, wild heart. And I think that just resonates so much with who I am as a person and like the other women that I find myself connecting with the most, and who I want to see in my swimwear are those women that are like bold. They listen to the whispers of their wild heart, but they're very, very kind and open with everyone, but they also have a backbone and they have some respect for themselves. So yeah, she just connects with me for sure. And I am excited to learn more from Brene Brown because she's a beautiful woman. So
yeah, whenever I saw that, I was like, that's it. I don't even need you to see the swimsuit. She's using a Brene Brown quote. Like, this is it. She's in. Come and stay with us.
Thank you. It is really such an honor. I like ran into your TikTok on my For You page, and I follow you guys on Instagram. And I've been for a while searching for where can I have a photo shoot that's not at the beach, because since I'm an independent swimwear designer, I mean, like, the budget's not big, but going out to the beach in Texas, it's just like I love Texas, but the water doesn't compare to other big label swimwear brands that get to go shoot in Tahiti or Florida or California, wherever. So this entire year, I've kind of been putting some thought into to where can I get some great photos that isn't necessarily at the beach. And at first I was thinking Austin, because they have quite a variety of like places to be able to play around with. But when I saw you on my For You page, I was like, this feels meant to be in my heart. Like I'm reaching out to this girl, and I literally was like, it's meant to be. I know I'm going to get it. It's meant to be. I'm getting emotional talking about it, but really feels like a lot of doors are opening for me. And I'm just so grateful, and I'm really humbled by it. So,
well, do you believe in manifestation?
I definitely do. I believe in manifestation for sure. Yeah. Do you guys?
Yeah. Absolutely.
She's
I've manifested my whole life. I manifested him.
Yeah.
No. And what's been so cool about this process of that little TikTok that I posted inviting people to come stay with us is that several of the other artists we worked with, they said the same thing, that like this is an opportunity that they feel like they manifested. So for us to be on the other end, like not the manifesting, but the other being part of other people's manifestation is just super cool.
Right.
And it actually, no, I take that back. This is something that I manifested, because for the last year, one of my little mantras that I say every day is that artists and creatives are going to be wanting to stay with us. Like they're going to want to trade work for stays. And that's one of the things that I say. And now it's happening. We have all of these amazing creators coming to stay with us and creating content and collaborating. And anyway, it's,
Yeah. So how did you get hooked onto Brene Brown?
Actually, I joined a book club, and nice. That was the first book that we read. And it was actually really cool because I hadn't heard of Brene Brown, but the girl that started my book club is one of my best friends. And I'm not much of a reader, but one of my New Year's resolutions last year was like, I really want to read some more. So I joined her book club, and she chose that book because she said, I chose this book because you joined the book club. And I feel like this book is a lot of who you are, because how I met her was like, I do have like a strong back. So when I met her was in college, and she had forgotten her textbook, and we had homework due, and she was like, hey, do you mind she texted me, she's like, do you mind just sending me the answers for the homework? And she was just this girl in my class at that time. I didn't know her. She's like, my boyfriend took off and my textbook was in his car. And I texted her back and I was like, girl, you are in college. You need to get it together. You cannot be doing this. So I didn't send her the answers. I sent her photos of my textbook, like the whole, like every page she needed. And I was just like, get it together, girl. And we didn't speak for like a year and a half after that, but she followed me on social media and eventually was like, I actually want to be friends with you because you calling me out put me in my place, in the sense that I took a look at my life, like, what am I doing with this guy?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you held her accountable. And is that something that how you lived your life, just holding yourself accountable? And
I try my best. I try my best to be, kind and understanding in every way that I possibly can with others, but also push others to be better, because I do know that we are capable of so much with our lives. And I just want to see everybody around me succeed and be the best that they can be. And if I have a foot in to be able to say something, I'm going to try to be as helpful as I can. So it was, at that time, kind of, I guess, just like accountability, but I'm not always the best at it. I don't think everybody's always the best at it, but I try to be as accountable as I can and hold everyone around me accountable to grow.
That's a strong back.
Yeah.
Strong back and the wild heart.
We need a lot more of that today, more kindness, more understanding between people. It's just, for those listening, today's January 20th. When this podcast comes out, it's going to be way down the road, but it's a pretty significant day because we have a new president that got inaugurated today. So that was a pretty huge deal. But but what you said, I think we do need people to be more kind and understanding. And, that can go a long way. So.
Yeah, that's what I love about Texas. Really, is I feel like the youth here and the younger generations in Texas are more open to building one another up. You know what I mean? Whereas like I'm originally from California, but I consider myself from Texas now because I've been here half my life, and, my maturity has really developed in Texas, and who I am as a human being now. But sometimes my family will ask me, like, do you miss California? And it's like, yeah, I miss California, but I just find so much more beauty in the culture and the people in Texas than I do in California, even though it's nice to be able to go to the snow and the mountains and, the beach all in one day there. I feel like I'm growing with my community in Texas, and all the youth is more open to uplifting one another. Whereas like I feel in major cities, they're trying to like step all over one another to try to be at the top because the spots are limited. So I love that around here. Even us, like what we're doing now, you're helping me. I hope to help you in return. And I think that's awesome and beautiful that we can do for one another.
What part of California are you from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh. Big city.
Big city. And then you moved to San Antonio?
Yeah, I moved to San Antonio. My family, my little branch of a family, just my parents, my grandparents, my aunt, my dad has one sibling like us. We just moved down here, and it's crazy the difference that it makes moving from California to Texas. Our Texas listeners are probably not going to like this because they're like, go home, don't come. We don't want you here. But we're good people, I swear.
Yeah. No.
We love Texas. We lived in California. So we moved from Texas to California for a little bit and wanted to get back to Texas. But I will say for all of us fellow Texans, when we moved to California, nobody told us to move back to Texas. Everybody was nice to us and showed us around.
That's very true. We got to keep that Southern hospitality looking right, even though, it may get a little crowded, but they're still welcoming people in California with open doors. And
they can come stay with us.
They're filled to the brim. Yeah. So we got some room over here. Come join the party.
Yeah. So I want to bring it back to, we were having a conversation about your swimsuits, and you were saying something about, and I'm probably going to butcher what you said, but that you don't make swimsuits to empower women, but you make swimsuits for empowered women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I mean, if my swimwear line and my brand empowers women, that brings me so much joy to my heart. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But I definitely think that the way that the further you get into a business, I mean, these people, they don't know, but I actually, my full-time gig is a social media marketing specialist or a digital marketing specialist. So I kind of know quite a bit about business, and I truly feel from my experience and from what I experienced with working with other business owners is that the more you get into your business, the more unified you become with your business, and the more aligned who you are as a person is with the message that your business sends out. And so when I first started Lillies, I was kind of in like a hard place. I was in like this really tumultuous relationship that I never saw myself going into or like being a part of anything like that, because I've seen tumultuous relationships. My mom had one with my dad, and I always said like, why would you be with him? I'd straight up tell her to leave my own dad. I'd be like, leave him. Like, why do you need him? And then I ended up being in a relationship like that. And I think it was a lesson learned for me for sure of like how it could happen to anybody. And you don't even realize like the things that are going on and how you're getting embedded into this relationship that's going to be really difficult to leave from. So when I started Lillies, I was in a not so empowered place myself. And I just wanted to create a swimwear line that would empower other women. And then I took a year off designing to continue working at a digital marketing firm and learn more about business before I came back and continued to invest money in Lillies Bikinis. And coming back, I feel so much more empowered. I graduated college. You know, I've learned so much about business, and I want my line to be about women who are empowered, because in reality, my swimwear is fun and colorful and really loud and full of personality. And at the end of the day, I feel like the women that are going to be most inclined to wear my swimwear are going to be the women that are already comfortable being bold and loud. And so, yeah, it's for empowered women. But if it empowers you, I'm so grateful for that, you know.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's super neat to see the change in your business from where you were in the beginning. So you needed the empowerment, and you were making swimsuits to empower. And now that you are empowered, you're making for the empowered. Like, that's just really neat to see. I don't think of swimsuits in that way. So it's
Right.
neat to see kind of the personal narrative and the personal story woven in with the designs and with the swimsuit itself. Super neat. So
Yeah.
my mind is blown.
Thank you. I try my best to, keep it as authentic as I can is what I recommend to everyone when they start a business is like who you are. That's what your business needs to reflect. And just as you find yourself as a human being, I think it's easier to embed more personality and more unique features, things that are going to make your business stand out the more you know yourself. Because you are an individual. He's beautiful. Everyone's beautiful in their own way. And if you just search for that beauty within yourself, you're going to have more to offer and your business could be that vessel to offer. So that's what I look for and try to do. Always trying to grow.
Yeah. Well, I know I don't know if there's going to be teenagers or adults listening to this podcast, but there is, I know podcasts are growing in popularity with the society. So I think young teenagers are picking up with podcasts. So if there were teenage girls, and I know there's some out there who need to hear those words, to lift, they need to learn how to lift themselves up and find that they can empower themselves. And what would you tell them if they were listening right now? Because, as a teenage girl, you go through all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I personally think that I come from a lower income community, and I've noticed, I noticed very early on that I felt like in those communities, people take one of two routes. And this can apply to anybody that's like having a hard time in their personal life is they're either going to subconsciously or consciously choose, this is who I am. This is my destiny. This is all I will ever be. I'm stuck with this. I'm just going to fester in it. Or they can look at their current situation and say, I never want to be this. I want to be so much better than this. I never want my future family to deal with this. And I'm going to grow from this. And it's never going to happen to me again. And my advice would just be to be conscious of those decisions, to be conscious of the fact that you can choose to fester in where you stand if it's a negative place, or you can choose to actively seek out how I'm going to get out of here. I'm never going to be here again. I want to be better than this. And just always believing in yourself. Really, there's no reason for anybody to not believe in themselves. If you have 2 hands and 2 feet, or even if you don't, if someone else has done it before you, you can do it too. And that's what I always tell myself in moments of doubt is it may be hard, but if somebody else could do it before you, so can you.
It may be hard, but we can do hard things.
Yeah.
We're capable of doing hard things.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's powerful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Ooh, give me the chills.
So one of the things that I noticed about, because all of the artists that we've had come stay with us, I'm stalking their Instagrams, checking out everything. And one of the things I noticed about the Instagram for your swimsuit line is that you had a lot of different types of models, like different body types and different types of women. And so it seems like that is important to your brand, probably to you as a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
So, man, I could get emotional talking about this. I haven't actually revealed this within my line because I've been trying to find the right way to go about it. I'm working on being a better storyteller. And I think that the TikTok platform helps a lot with trying to keep your content short and sweet and figuring out ways to do it. But it's super important to me because at one time when I was in that tumultuous relationship, I was being compared to other women all the time. And that was what led to me being in a really dark place and needing to be empowered. And then a double whammy for that is my mom actually struggles with body dysmorphia. So she never wore swimwear out in public ever. She would wear a one-piece swimsuit and she would wear cargo shorts or pants, joggers over and a t-shirt over that. And because she was just so uncomfortable with her body and she looks beautiful. She's absolutely fine just the way that she is. But she, through her own eyes, couldn't see that. And so I want women to feel beautiful no matter their shape, shade, size, or color. And a lot of my mom's insecurities also came from having children. And majority of women have children. And it's a big change that we have to go through. And so I even feature women on my line that like have had children, have a little bit of extra tummy skin, the stretch marks, because all of that is completely normal. And it could be really hard for a woman to feel normal after feeling like her body's been sacrificed to bring forth the most beautiful thing they've ever had. But, you know, it still hurts to look and see that that's not going to be the same anymore. So I just don't want anybody feeling excluded, anybody feeling like their body isn't normal, anybody feeling like if they don't have X, Y, or Z, they don't stand out or no one's going to want them or other people are better than them. That's not true whatsoever.
No. I was talking to one of your models and she was like, yeah, you know, I messaged her beforehand. I was like, I just want you to, you know, just to make sure, you know, like I'm a bigger girl.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know if you can tell by my pictures, but are you sure? And she said that you said that's exactly why I want to work with you. Your body type is perfect. Like, and I just thought that was so neat. Like that, you know, that because so many swim companies, they don't care about women and our bodies and how we see ourselves. And and they're just, you know, showcasing the same body types over and over and over.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're showing off every body type because all of our body types are normal.
Thank you. I really try. I really do. Yeah. I want to. Could there be more diversity within my brand? Yes. But can I like afford it at this moment? No, but would I like to? Absolutely. Like the more variety of women that I could offer and showcase, the happier that I will be, the more excited that I'll be. But yeah, a lot of swimwear brands, I don't know how to tell women, but they need to understand that a lot of swimwear brands don't make swimwear with them in mind. And I've always noticed like just because it looks like that on a size 2 model doesn't mean it's going to look like that on everybody else. And so that's one of the reasons why I offer all of my swimwear in 3 different bottom styles. So like every top can be purchased with a high-waisted bikini because some women like tummy coverage, a cheeky cut bikini because some women love that flattering style, or full coverage because I never want to pressure women into feeling like in order to wear my designs, you have to feel comfortable showing off your bum, which is what a lot of other major swimwear labels are doing right now, is pressing onto women. If you're empowered, quote unquote, if you're comfortable, then you should be comfortable wearing this out in public. And being from Texas, I can tell you that's just simply not true. I mean, beautiful women wear full coverage all the time. Confident women wear full coverage all the time. And I don't want to be wearing a cheeky cut bikini around my in-laws. You know what I mean? So
around grandma and like great grandma.
Exactly. There's a time and a place for it all, right? But yeah, having plus size models is definitely such a joy always. And I always make sure that my swimwear fits the plus sizes as well appropriately. That's another problem with the swimwear industry is you have designers that come up with a pretty picture. They send it to a manufacturer. The manufacturer sends them a size small bikini. They try it on a model and they say, yeah, it looks great. Make it medium, large, extra large, XXL. And they never actually try on the swimsuit on a size large woman. And so making those minor tweaks, it makes all the difference in how it's going to flatter their body type and make them feel. So I try to uphold that standard of like, I'm going to try it on a size medium model and a size large model before I put this into production. And if I have to make a tweak and the style is a little bit different, maybe like an extra inch into the breast, I'll do that for them. So.
Wow.
You answered a question I had for you already. Which was, what was the inspiration for going into the swimwear business and design? And you said, you know, that was because of your mom and when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And of all your memories and influences as a kid or even just growing up, that was the one that stuck out to the you based your business decision on. Why is it that stuck out more than anything else? So much that you wanted to start a business.
So I didn't think of starting a business and like, this is what I want my message to be, and I want to make swimwear. It really started with, originally I was making swimwear for myself because I was looking online for a swimsuit for spring break, and everything that I liked. I'm super picky when it comes to swimwear. I always have been, because if I'm going to be half naked out in front of the world, it's got to be looking good. You know what I mean? Not perfect, but as best as I could possibly look. Like, that's what I want to be, making sure that it's the best I can do. But all of the styles that I like, they were priced at over $100 each, and they were all in solid black, nude, white, all red. And it was kind of like, I don't want to pay that much money for just a solid color, something that's really not going to make me stand out in comparison to anybody else. And so I started making my own swimwear with different fabric, and I wore that to spring break, and I got a ton of compliments on it, and my girlfriends asked me to make it for them. And so eventually I was like, I've always wanted to go to school for business, and I was originally going to school for biology. My parents thought I was going to be a doctor. I was actually going to be a marine biologist. I just wasn't going to tell them that because they wouldn't have been happy about it. But I always wanted to do business, and they were not excited about that idea at all, because everyone in my family is an entrepreneur, and my branch of the entrepreneurial family did not perform well in the business sector. So they were not thrilled with me picking a tumultuous career that wasn't steady income guaranteed. So what I did was, when I started making the swimwear and girls were asking me for it, I was like, I actually really like this. And I think that this could align with like what I love, because I loved marine biology and I want to be by the beach. So if I design swimwear, I'm still like fulfilling my dream of having a business, and I can live by the beach. It would be super convenient for my business. Which now as an adult, I don't know if I'll live by the beach, but that was my train of thought at the time. Yeah. And the thought of like making sure that my swimwear makes everyone comfortable really does stem from the memory of my mom never wearing swimwear out, and me growing up as a little girl having to convince my mom that she was beautiful all the time. And like, no little girl should have to be the voice of reason for their mom, telling their mom like, no, mom, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Like, stop thinking about yourself like that. Stop speaking to yourself like that. And I had to find empowerment within myself without my mom being there to guide me. And I had to guide my mom a little bit to feel empowered and beautiful. So I just wanted to be a vessel for women that may be struggling with the same thing or something similar. Just enlighten them that they don't have to look like everybody else in order to feel beautiful. Whatever it is that you got, as long as you're rocking it and you own it. You know, I got a little bit of stretch marks. I don't care. Everybody got stretch marks. That's what's beautiful. That's what's sexy. And that's what people are attracted to, that type of energy, not people that are scared of what they have, what they're bestowed with, right?
Yeah, I don't know how old your mom is, but if she's around my mom's age, you know, that generation, it was about being pencil thin. Like, curves were not in, like, my mom in high school, her body was gorgeous and just curvy and beautiful. And she thought she was just so fat. But at that time, it was all about, you know, just being pencil thin. And now, like, my mom gets it. My mom gets curves are in. Like, we love curves. Yeah. And my grandma doesn't. And I'm like, Grandy, if you only were born in this generation, like, your body would have been celebrated, because now we celebrate all different types of bodies, but especially curvy bodies are almost in fashion, you know? They
are, yeah.
And she's like, no. I'm like, you don't understand.
The resistance.
Yeah. And so it's, you know, I think women just saw themselves a lot differently than we see ourselves now. Right. Not that it's perfect, because we're all so self-conscious all the time, because that's just so conditioned in us. But it's just a lot different than when our parents and our grandparents were growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. Even now, like, as a thin, petite woman, I feel like a lot of thin and petite women feel self-conscious that they don't have a curvaceous figure. And like, because that's what's in right now. And I personally have to remind myself, like, I don't need to be comparing myself to other women. And I always say the quote, like, believe it or not, my mom, like, she struggled with her own self-image, but she would always tell me that she would always use the line, just because someone's favorite flower is a sunflower doesn't mean that they think tulips and roses and all other types of flowers are ugly or unattractive. And that's how women need to look at themselves. Like, there's somebody out there who you're going to be their favorite type of flower. And like, that's all you need in your life. It's just that one person that adores you. And if you don't have that right now, that's totally cool. But accepting yourself for who it is that you are is going to get you one step closer to like finding the other person that's going to match that energy that you have for yourself. But yeah, it's the thicker curvy bodies are in right now for sure. And I love it.
That's so good. I've never heard that.
About the
analogy,
flower.
Yeah.
It reminded me of something you said to me when we were first dating. So like I've always been like march to the beat of my own drum. I am who and what I am.
Right.
And I don't make apologies for it. And I think in my past, that's kind of like turned guys away because I thought it was weird. Like I had guys straight up tell me like, you're so weird. And I remember one time Jake said something and he was like, you're weird enough for me. Like I was his perfect kind of weird. And I was like, okay, let's get married. So we did.
That.
But like I was his
Reel
hydrangea.
Take lessons, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Write it down. Use the line, you're my type of weird. Seals the deal.
That's a hook, line, sinker. No, that's that's good.
Yeah.
There was back to what you were saying with your business. Have you started to reach out to people who can manufacture and produce your swimwear? How's that process been for you? I mean, where do you even start?
Yeah.
How's that going?
So I found originally my first collection, I was sewing it all by myself, and it was just too much for me because I was also going to school full time, and I was going to school like full time. Like my spring semester, I took 6 classes, and then in the summertime, I took 5 classes. And in that time, I was also doing Lillies, and I didn't have time to actually market myself. Like that's where I went wrong, is I was putting things out onto the internet, but I wasn't actually doing anything other than that. And essentially, if you don't have any type of strategy, if you don't have any type of marketing going on for yourself, nobody on the internet is looking for you, honey. Like that's the truth. It is a big, vast space. You might as well be holding up a billboard in the desert if you're not strategic and have a plan as far as what your marketing is going to be. So I decided for my second collection, I need to find someone that can do this for me. But I didn't want to go the route of sending my stuff to Bali, and I just didn't. It's not eco-friendly like a lot of people try and make it seem like it might be. And I wanted to keep the money within my own community and help another woman out in any way that I could. So I sourced out this woman who's a fashion designer herself, and she has this shop where she can manufacture clothes in. And that was ideal for me because I can go in and see how it fits and talk to her and actually work on my pieces myself, because that's super important for me. A lot of like fashion designers in modern day, like I said, they just draw a picture and send it to somebody else, and they, send them some fabric and be like, pick some colors and it's made for them. But I don't want that. I want to know everything about my business, from what needle was used to, whose hand it ends up in. And having it done locally was a big thing for me. So fate had me cross paths with this woman who is super talented. Her name is Maria Zamora, and she helps me with manufacturing my clothing. And in exchange, I'm helping her after she manufactures her clothing, develop her brand and her line, because she really deserves it. She's been working in the industry for over 40 years. She's helped other designers build their brands, and she's extremely talented. She can make wedding gowns. She can make red carpet gowns. She can make anything. And so
quinceañera dresses.
Quinceañera, she's making those right now. She's making like quinceañera dresses matched with like the sombrero and everything. Like the gentleman's sombrero matches the quinceañera dress. And so she deserves the success.
This is in San Antonio, correct?
This is in San Antonio.
Yeah, I remember going like in high school. My sister was having a quinceañera. They had some lady in some apartment complex that she was making the dresses in. So all the girls had to go get fitted in the apartment. It was just like she was doing it from home, just like entrepreneurial.
Hey, bootstrapping it is the way you learn a whole lot, when you just say, I may not have money, but I'm going to make it work somehow. Yeah. And that's where you get a lot of creativity, and being able to be scrappy like that with your business will go a long way in the long term, because you know, businesses are a lot more everlasting when your solution to problems isn't just throw money at it. You know what I mean? You're actually in there getting your hands dirty, making ends meet without the money. That's a beautiful thing. And you experience a lot of beautiful growth personally. And, you know, over time, it may take longer, but business wise as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's definitely what the whole point of being an entrepreneur is.
Yeah.
You just figure it out. And then
you guys are doing it.
With COVID, you know, a lot of people pivoted.
Yeah.
And you know, for example, you know, restaurants now, they're, you know, you see all these rented tents or purchased tents that they bought.
Yeah.
And they're serving food from outside. But yeah, that's part of entrepreneurship, and we've talked about you just figure it out.
Exactly. You're gonna have hard months, and you're gonna have really, really high months, and that's just how business is. And if you're not ready to take the lows with the highs, then you should probably reconsider what decisions you're making when it comes to starting a business or continuing a business or not, because that is entrepreneurship life. You better save your money, because you know, a rainy day might be coming along. It's kind of guaranteed in this game. So
yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you plan on having kids, or if you don't have kids, correct? I don't want to assume anything.
You're totally good.
Okay. So if you did have kids, would you want them to pursue, or would you have the same mindset as your parents did, not want them to pursue being an entrepreneur, or would you push them to be a doctor? How would you treat that? Now that you're an entrepreneur yourself, and kind of been down that road.
Right. Well, for me personally, I mean, I could probably select a couple of industries that I would like for them to work in that I think would be beneficial for me, but that's a little selfish. I really would support them in whatever it is. I mean, I don't want to raise kids in confinement and protecting them from the world and, you know, planting seeds of doubt in their mind. I want them to, you know, be as free, think as freely as they would like, and always just lead with a kind heart, and always assume the best intentions from everyone that they meet. Obviously, like, not strangers on the road, but, you know, within some parameters, but always lead with a kind heart. And whatever you want to do with your life, you can absolutely do it. Even if you want to be a chef, you know, the chances of you making great money as a chef is not super high, but if that's really what you want to do, you can make some darn good money as a chef. You just got to put your all into it. And so that's what I would tell my kids, no matter what, is I don't care, but if you're going to be a chef, you better be the best chef I've ever seen in my entire life. I want to be sitting at the dinner table with Gordon Ramsay in 10 years. So let's get it together.
We don't have kids yet, and we may not, I don't know. But we always talk about, like, if we do, like, they're going to grow up in our business. And, you know, I'm hoping that at a young age, they'll be like out there selling rocks to our guests, you know, so like trying to like make their own little side hustle. I don't know. And they may not, and that may not be the personality, and that's okay. But I just think growing up in it and the way that we are is going to rub off on them.
Oh, absolutely. I was totally like that. And that's why it rubbed off on me when I was little, believe it or not. Like, my family owned a bakery in California, and, you know, I was always inside the bakery because my family comes from Cuba. So they weren't going to be able to afford daycare or anything like that. So when I'd get off of school, I'd go straight to the bakery and I'd do my homework in my grandpa's office. And like, I loved business. Like, I just loved talking to people. And so I'd work the cash register, and my mom always laughs because she was like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years old working the cash register. And I'd like stand over her shoulders to make sure she wasn't messing up. And it was like one of those vintage cash registers where like it wouldn't even do the math for you. And she was like, she didn't mess up a single time. And I said, don't mess with my coins, Mom. I know my math. I've always liked math. So it definitely rubs off for sure. And you guys are they're probably going to be living on that property. You know, they're probably going to be 17. Like, hey, Mom, we're going to build our own little tiny home in the back. We'll be here for a couple more years. Don't mind us.
No, I'm not gonna promote that.
Yeah, that was not the purpose of this village.
But you can do it, but on another property.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. We go back and forth on that subject a lot. Part of me is like, I want them to be a doctor or a lawyer, but that is a selfish part of me, and not, you know, it's really ultimately up to them, and it's going to be based on their personality type and how they come out. But a little bit of nature, a little bit of nurture.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So before we wrap it up, because we got to wrap it up, I want to know, you might have questions too. My last question is, I want to know what you are most excited about right now for Lillies, and then also like your next step for the future. I'm kind of combining my two questions.
So, man, really the most exciting thing right now for me is all these beautiful people that I'm crossing paths with, because I feel like that really is like the signs from the universe that things are opening up. I don't know how our listeners feel about manifestation and all of that stuff, but I'm very much so a spiritual person. I also, you know, I'm religious as well, but I think a beautiful combination of both is really key. So I've been manifesting and meditating on this for many years, and just feeling like I'm actually truly in my heart in the position to receive, because I truly from the bottom of my heart feel like I've been putting all this work in for 4 years, and I just see things happening around me finally. And that's just the most exciting thing, is you get to moments in your business where you start hitting your head against the wall and you're like, why hasn't it happened? Yeah. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? But it just takes time, you know, and I feel like that time has passed, and I feel like the time for me is now here. And that's the most exciting thing. And to be blessed with meeting other people that I can benefit and they can benefit from me as well. Like, that's an amazing opportunity to get with every single person you meet and to be able to expand on. So that's what I'm most grateful and excited for. And, you know, a new rebrand as well. So I'm coming out with the rebrand, this new collection, which is the switch from empowering women to women that already are empowered. So I'm really excited for that. I think women are already showing a lot of interest in that. And the future for me holds just connecting, creating more of a community with women, being more outspoken within the community for women, being able to like host virtual events for women to be able to mingle and, you know, have deeper conversations with one another. Because I feel like society is kind of growing into this place where, like, I mean, this quarantine helped shed a lot of light on a lot of things that we probably all improved on, but it's also made us more in our shell, which I think we were kind of already headed in that direction, because cell phones, that's where we're getting our personal connections with people, is like online. So maybe trying to find a way for women to become more genuinely connected, even if it is virtually, but genuine human connections. I don't want my brand to be self-centered. I want to be offering the people that support me something in return, some support in return, some content that's going to help them in some other way. So that's the future, is figuring out how I can support women through my brand, create content that helps them in some way, shape, or form. And I'm already on the road to that, but you know, it takes practice for sure to get those messages right, short, sweet. Even now I'm rambling.
No, that's good. Persistence too.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody listening to this was interested in maybe purchasing or seeing more of what you have, or if they had questions that maybe they just want to reach out, where can they find you? Do you have a website or socials, or what email, or what?
Yeah. So for me, you can find me on Lillies Bikinis, at Lillies Bikinis is my handle for all of my social medias. And then my website is www.lilliesbikinis.com. I know the www kind of goes without saying, but that's like the traditional way of saying it. www.lilliesbikinis.com. But yeah, I have a new collection that's being released in February, and I'm really excited about that. And I think the women will genuinely love it, God willing.
February 2021.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Just in time for spring break.
That's exactly right.
Summer's coming.
Yeah, we can't miss the
All
spring
these
break
girls
opportunity.
out in the Frio River. You got to get your swimsuit.
Yeah.
Don't want to look like everybody else.
You don't want to look like everybody else.
No,
That's right.
don't look like everyone else. You want to stand out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Liz, it's been great. Great conversation and having you on the podcast. We appreciate your time and coming out here to work with us. We're just so grateful for everything that you're doing.
I'm so grateful for you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. This is honestly such a great opportunity. I'm so excited. I never thought that I'd be asked to be on a podcast. So it's an incredible opportunity to get to connect with you guys. I can see the heart and soul you put into your business. So I know you guys are amazing people and I don't even know you very well, but I can just tell. So I'm grateful to have met you guys and to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that is it, folks. Be nice, and we will see you
kind-hearted.
Yeah.
later. Hasta luego.
Bye.